Hello students, I warmly welcome you to class. In today's lesson, we shall be looking at the topic Clifford Constitution. But before then, we shall look at the Nigerian Council, that is the lawmaking body in Nigeria before the Clifford Constitution of 1922. Then afterward, we shall be looking at the merits and the merit of Clifford. Now let's look at the lesson objectives in proper. By the end of this class, you should be able to explain the Lord Lugard's Nigerian Council, discuss the aims of the National Congress of British West Africa, highlight the features of Clifford Constitution of 1922, and then state the merit and demerits of Clifford's Constitution. Now let's look at the Nigerian Council. The Nigerian Council was the first lawmaking body in Nigeria after amalgamation. It was established by Lord Lugard. The Nigerian Council had 36 members, 23 European officials, and 13 non-official members. And out of these 13, 7 of them were Europeans and 6 were Nigerians. So it was the first lawmaking body in Nigeria. Now, let's look at the NCBWA, which was formed by Joseph Casely Harford in Ghana. There were also persons like Akinwande Savage of Nigeria, who collaborated with Joseph Harford. Now, the NCWA was formed in the year 1920. One of the major demands of this body was the issue of granting elective principle. The body sent delegates to London to present a petition to the Secretary of State, Lord Mina. The Congress was accused of self-centeredness and that it only represented the interests of the educated elites. Now let's look at Clifford Constitution.
The historical background to the Clifford Constitution of 1922. Elective democracy had been introduced in Nigeria in May 1919, when the Township Ordinance gave the right to vote for 3 members of Lagos Town Council to some men. The first election to the council were held on 29th March 1920. In 1922, a new constitution known as the Clifford Constitution after Governor Hugh Clifford was promulgated, which introduced 4 elected seats to the Legislative Council, 3 in Lagos and 1 in Calabar. The franchise was restricted to men aged 21 or over who were British subjects or a native of Nigeria who had lived in their municipal area for the 12 months prior to the election and who earned at least £100 in the previous calendar year. The vote was withheld from those who had been convicted of a crime, hard labor, in prison for more than a year, or those with unsound mind. Only about 4,000 people registered to vote in Lagos out of a total population of 99,000, while just 453 registered in Calabar. Students, I hope you are with your materials. You need to write down this point. Alright, now let us talk about the main features of the Clifford Constitution of 1922. Now the first feature here is Secretary of State for Colonies. This was a cabinet minister in Britain and the Secretary of State for Colonies. All the colonial governors report to him. The second feature is head of state. This was Governor Hugh Clifford, representing the Queen of England. The next feature is the Executive Council. It was an all-European council. No Nigerian was a member, meaning that Nigerians were not part of the decision-making body. The next feature is the Legislative Council. Membership was 46. 27 members out of the 46 were officials, while 19 were unofficial members. 10 out of the 19 were Nigerians. Out of the 10 Nigerians, 4 were elected. 3 were elected from Lagos and 1 from Calabar. The remaining 6 were appointed by the governor to represent other parts of the country. However, the Northern Protectorate was not part of this council. Another feature here is elective principle. Can you say this? Elective principle. Clifford's Constitution established for the first time elective principle. Elections were to be conducted into the Legislative Council. Alright, are we together, students? Another feature here is political activities. Can you say it? Political activities. There was political activities and formation of political parties. As at that time, especially in Lagos and Calabar. Political parties such as the NNDP, Nigerian National Democratic Party of Abat Macaulay, was introduced. Another feature here is the establishment of newspapers. The West African Pilot, Lagos Daily News, for example, were established to increase political activities. I don't think you can find them in this modern age. It was used in the colonial system. Now, the next feature is new Legislative Council. A new Legislative Council for the colony and protectorate of southern Nigeria was established. The northern protectorate was excluded. Are we together, students? Now let us see the merits or advantages of Clifford Constitution. The first merit here is political activities. This constitution created a conducive atmosphere for political activities and formation of political parties in Lagos and Calabar. The NNDP of Abat Macaulay is a very good example. Now the next merit is newspapers. These were established to further popularize the increased political activities as at that time. Another merit or advantage here is elective principle. This constitution made it possible for the elective representation of Nigerians into the Legislative Council. Another merit or advantage of the Clifford Constitution is written constitution. Clifford Constitution was the first written constitution for Nigeria. Another merit is constitutional agreement. It established a constitutional government in Nigeria as opposed to the government by statutory instruments or orders. Next we have political awareness. It increased political awareness through political education and political campaigns. Now when we talk about political awareness, political education, now it is the way by which citizens are educated enlightened, or taught about the political activities of their country. Now we also have political participation as another merit of Clifford Constitution. When we talk about political participation, it enhances greater political involvement by the means of political party membership. Alright, now let us see the demerit of Clifford Constitution, demerit or disadvantages of the Clifford Constitution. The first demerit here is disenfranchisement. Now when we talk about disenfranchisement, it simply means that a citizen is not allowed to vote in a given election as a result of one reason or the other. Only 4 of the unofficial members were to be elected by an adult male suffrage with residential qualification of 1 year and a gross income of £100 per year. The majority of the Nigerians were disenfranchised. Now when we talk about adult male suffrage, it simply means that only qualified adult male are allowed to vote in a given election. Another disadvantage or demerit here is legislative council. Europeans dominated this council. Now we also have the executive council. It was also dominated and controlled by the Europeans. Another demerit here is elective principle. Those elected were only for the legislative council and were unofficial. This franchise was not extended to the executive council. Another feature here is it is dominated by illiterates. Illiterates who were in an unofficial capacity dominated the legislative council. Another demerit here is sectionalism. Clifford's Constitution was accused of sectionalism by its definition. It was a constitution for the South only. The North was excluded. Now when we talk about sectionalism, sectionalism is a segregation of a particular region from others. Now this brings us to the end of this lesson. I am glad to have you all as part of this impactful lesson. Just remember that an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Education impacts societies worldwide for the better. Be the change you want to see in your community by learning at UPSS. Thanks for listening and bye.